Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Shauna and this channel is all about homeschool and motherhood, and if you like that kind of thing, please go ahead and hit that red subscribe button. But today we are going to be talking about our end of year reflections. If you guys have been following me for a while, you know that we recently ended our homeschool year, and it is also a video collaboration that is hosted by Abby from Rooted in Rest and Jessica from the Waldock Way. So I will link that playlist down in the description bar. Check it out when you're done with this video and grab a cup of coffee. Let's see how the year went. Alright, so let's start with all of the things that worked for us this year. Finding classical conversations has been a huge blessing. We found it, I want to say like 2 months ago, and so we stepped into like the last half of their semester or their year, and we found such a great group. The women in there, the teachers, the kids, it's all have just been like a huge blessing to us, and I have really enjoyed that group and just getting to know everyone. And that was not easy for me because at the beginning of the year we started off in a completely different co-op. It was hard to make friends. I'm an introvert. It's hard to kind of put yourself out there and to kind of get that bravery and, to just go and talk to people and be the new person. It's hard to be the new person, but it's been a blessing to find this group. So if you're struggling with community and finding community and making those friendships, I definitely want to encourage you to step out of your comfort zone. It is very hard, but we got to do these things for ourselves and for the kids because they need community, we need community. So that's been a blessing. I have my list just so I don't forget anything. The kids, they stepped up to their challenges this year, and we had so many challenges. At the beginning of the year, my husband was gone for work for 3 months. It was so hard. The first month was kind of like a breeze, and then after that I think we all got done with him not being here. So it was a challenge, and so they definitely built up a certain kind of resiliency to just like the struggles, and they definitely conquered them, and they did amazing. And some of the goals that I had set for my kids at the beginning of the year were for my 5-year-old to be reading by the end of this year and my 8-year-old to be working independently. And they stepped up to those challenges and they did it and they conquered them. And I'm just so proud to see where they were at the start of the year and where they are now, and just to see all of the progress in between. And even when they were met with hardships and challenges and hard days, they kicked butt and they did the things that they needed to do, and they showed up for themselves. And yes, it was not easy. It was not easy for them some days. It was not easy for me some days. Sometimes we had some really hard days. Some days we needed to take the day completely off. But at the end of the day, as like the whole homeschool year and just reflecting on it, they did amazing, and I'm so proud of them. So moving on to some of the things that have not worked for us. I really started slacking with our Bible work towards like the end of the year. I started putting that when the days started getting hard and we started hitting that burnout feeling. I started moving Bible work from the very top of our list, the very, start of the day, towards, maybe the second thing that we hit the day, or the third. And finally, it just became the last thing that we did each and every day. And sometimes we didn't even get to it. And just reflecting back on that was the wrong course to take. Because if anything, on the hard days, we should be running to the Bible. We should be seeing how to deal with our feelings from a biblical perspective. And, so next year, just looking at that, I want to make sure that I keep that in mind, and that we always start our day hearing, God's love. Because when we fill ourselves with goodness and love, that's going to carry on throughout the day. And that doesn't mean that the day is going to be perfect, but at least our moods will be, or our minds will be set like a little bit more on the right path than on the I'm just going to be consumed by my emotions or the hardships of the day path. And so I really want to make sure that I keep that at the forefront of my mind for next year. And maybe that applies to you, maybe it doesn't, maybe, you know, you don't work the Bible into your homeschool, and that's totally fine. I'm just saying, you know, where I went wrong this year as, you know, a biblical parent. One of the other things that I noticed not working is I need to play with them more. I have the ability to be a little too type A and to kind of just look at the laundry list of things that I have to do. You know, the baby needs tending to, the dishes need to be washed, the house is a mess. Like, okay, I'll play with you after I get X, Y, and Z done. And instead, I want to try to change. And I'm sure that you could see my facial expression that word is hard for me. But I want to start playing with them first before I go knocking off these things, because I noticed that on the days where I made playing a priority, they were more likely to come to homeschool in a good attitude, and they were more willing to learn, and honestly, it just creates those memories that I want to make with them. And that's the whole point of us homeschooling, is to build those family bonds. So I want them to look back on their childhood and remember, you know, like, oh, we always had fun, we always played. Obviously, it's not going to be perfect. There are going to be days where I don't want to play. There are going to be days where we can't play. But so I'm not like trying to make it like, oh, we're going to just play all the time. But I do want to incorporate more play into our day and, you know, just build those memories with them and just make it more relaxed and laid back and just fun. And the last thing that is not working for us, and I can't even believe I'm going to say it, is Masterbooks. If you guys have been following me for some time, you know that like I love Masterbooks, and this is not to say anything, you know, negative about them or, you know, anything like that, because I think that they are still a fabulous curriculum, and they were the perfect curriculum that we needed when we stepped into homeschooling 2 years ago, and they were perfect for us this year. And More Than Words will always hold my heart. In fact, we are going to be using that curriculum from them next year, but for their math and English, we will not be using them next year. Now, we're not going to be using them just because, I mean, for the most part, I'm getting kind of bored. Like, me as the parent, Noah still wanted to use them, and I really considered continuing to use them, but you know, sometimes it just gets boring where it's the same thing every single day in every single book. Like, there's nothing different. And that is where some kids could shine with the consistency, and some kids will do really well with, you know, knowing exactly what they're going to get in each and every single book. And like I said, Noah loved that. He still wanted to use it, but I think that we're getting to the point where he needs to be challenged a little bit more in different ways, and I need something new to read and teach. So and then, you know, there were just some other inconsistencies. Like, I didn't like how sometimes they would introduce a certain topic in either their math or their language arts, and then they would never talk about it again, and then all of a sudden the review is coming up and your child is getting reviewed on it. And I didn't like that, because to me, if something is important enough to work into a review, then it should be something that is like a spiral approach where it's going over multiple times before you even hit the review. So then that way, when your child gets their review, they already know it. It's not, oh, well, I have to go back to, you know, 6 weeks ago and review this concept that I only went over one time and I barely remember. So that kind of frustrated me a little bit, especially in the math book. Roman numerals were introduced, I think, within like the last 6 weeks of the book. And so it was just kind of frustrating because, I mean, it's not like a huge concept, but to me, like, it's a big enough concept where the curriculum is saying, hey, you should know these, and then it's not really giving him adequate time to know them. Like, why would you not introduce that at the beginning of the curriculum? Now, that's not to say that, I know everything about Masterbooks and their rhyme and reason. Maybe this is just a stepping stone for the following book where, they're gradually introducing it at the end of one book to really hit it home in the following book. But it was just a source of frustration for me. So, those things combined with the boredom, we just decided that next year we're going to be using something different. That's not to say that we won't go back to Masterbooks. You never know. So those are all of my thoughts on how this year went. I'm actually going to go get Noah and see what his thoughts are, because anytime we reflect on our year, I like to get what the kids' perspective is. What are some of the things that they liked? What did they not like? What would they like to see worked into next year? So I'm going to go get him. I am going to skip Addie today just because she isn't feeling well, and I'll ask her those questions later. All right, so this is my son, Noah. What did you like about this year, bud? Was there a certain curriculum that you liked? Did you like CC?
I liked CC and doing the language arts.
Ooh, you like the language arts? What did you like about the language arts?
I don't know, I just liked it.
You just liked it? All right. What did you not like about this year?
Too many pages.
Too many pages? From what, the language arts or in general?
Just, in general.
Just in general? All right. Did you, because we do a block schedule, so we'll do math and science 2 days a week, and then language arts and history 2 days a week. So sometimes he does 2 to 3 lessons a day from each book. So how many lessons a day would you like to do, or how many pages do you want me to shoot for next year? Can you sit right here? Like, was there a certain amount of pages that we did that you felt like,
6.
So 6 is too much?
Yeah, I just want to do 4.
So 4 or 5 would be good, or?
4 or 5.
Okay. So we can try to work that in next year. Let me write that down.
Because the 6 ones, I'm just like, I don't know what to do.
Okay. And that's fair. What was so you said your favorite curriculum was language arts?
Yeah.
Or was it history? Ooh.
History.
History. I love history too. Beautiful Feet Books has been awesome. Are you okay? Are you okay? Okay. What was your least favorite curriculum and why?
Math, because it takes forever.
Yeah. I thought you really liked math.
I
so
do.
That's interesting.
I just don't like how it takes forever.
Oh, okay. So you love math. You just don't want it to take as long. I don't feel like it took you that long. So what did you feel like took the longest? Like, what was it, the pages, or was it the new concepts? Because you learned multiplication this year. So
it was not the new stuff, but the pages, right? Yeah, pages.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so can you sit right here, please? You're like getting further back. So you were good with learning multiplication and division, but you want to see it shortened a little bit. Mm-hmm. Okay. So do you feel like 4 or 5 pages is good with math too, or do you feel like that's too much?
I feel like it's good.
Okay. And is there anything new that you would like to learn next year? I know that we talked about learning about galaxies and things like that. Is there anything else that you would like to learn?
Roman numerals.
Ooh, Roman numerals. You liked that, did you? Okay. So, all right, I'll add that. If there's anything else that you think of, let me know, though. Okay? And we can try to incorporate some different things, whether it's topics or skills.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so that is the end of our reflections video. Let me know, how did your year go? What are some things that worked for you and that didn't work for you? I would love to hear it. If you like this video, please give us a big thumbs up, hit that red subscribe button, and I'll see you guys again later. Bye. Oh, and don't forget to check out the playlist in the description box. Are you okay? And that's a wrap up.